Hey guys, Mrs. Heavy Chevy here with my first video of 2020. I hope y'all are having a happy new year and that you have great plans for this year and that you will succeed and God will truly bless you. So today I'm coming with a video on how I made my cross Christmas tree. Now pretty much is what you see in this picture is what you're going to need to make this tree minus whatever spray paint you want to use to cover. Now mine's looking pretty rough only because it's been sitting in the basement since last year. A good portion of my lights went out this year and I wasn't able to get to it and get it replaced. And my thought on making new videos and keeping up with my channel that I would make this my first video. I know some of you are thinking, why would she wait till after Christmas to make this video? Well, my thought process was this. After Christmas, you have Christmas clearance. And right now, in most places, they're anywhere from 50 to 80% off, and very soon will be 90% off. And so therefore, you could purchase your garland and your lights and whatever decor that you want to add to your tree at a discounted rate. And you would be ahead of the game and have your tree ready for 2020, Christmas 2020. That's hard to believe. But anyway, all you're going to need is a tree stand. Now, you may want to, before you go purchase your PVC pipe for your tree, you may want to go ahead and measure the diameter that your tree will hold flush against your PVC pipe, so that some tree stands wouldn't go small enough to go flush against this, which would not stabilize the tree. So therefore, you want to make sure that whichever tree stand you're using, that it will go tight enough and hold your tree in place. So my stand held my 1.5 inch PVC pipe, so that's what I went with. You could do 2 inches. I don't know what it all comes in, maybe 3. Obviously, the larger the PVC, the thicker and fuller the tree is going to look because you're going to wrap the garland around these poles. So I was fortunate enough to have the guy at the Home Depot where I purchased my pipe. Again, this is a 10-foot, 1.5 inch that he cut for me into 1 4-foot and 1, 2, 3 2-foot sections, which equals 10 foot. So you'll utilize every bit of that 10 foot for a approximately 6.5 foot tree. Then I got this little connector. I'm not sure what you call this connector. It has 4 little openings, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You have to be certain that this piece you purchase will accommodate your 1.5 inch pipe, because you will be inserting these into those holes. And then these 2 end caps. You may want to go ahead and purchase a 3rd end cap for the top. I didn't because of the star that I used, and I'll show you that later. But afterthought, I probably would have bought 3 and drilled a hole just slightly bigger than the piece that I was going to stick down into it. Although you can hide it fairly well with the garland if you only want to get the 2 end caps, which will make it cheaper. I'm not sure what this and these 2 pieces were. I can't imagine they were more than a few dollars a piece for these, and maybe $5 for this, if that. I can't remember, it's been too long. And maybe like $10 for the pipe. And I purchased my tree stand at my local thrift store for $2. So I'm thinking I probably did this project for like $20-25 with spray paint, which is not here, whatever color. I would recommend that you spray it whatever color your garland is going to be. So if you got green garland, you're going to want green spray paint. If you're going to do a white tree and you have white garland, you're probably going to want white spray paint. And I only say that, even though the PVC is white, is because they will have imprinted their information on the pipe, and you'll want to cover that up so that that doesn't show through in any gaps or whatever that you may have. Okay, so this 4-foot section, I simply took this connector and inserted it just like a puzzle. Simple, easy peasy. I'm not going to put it all together. I'll be out of frame and it'll be hard to see. But I simply inserted it there like that. And then you can take a rubber mallet hammer and you can just hammer it down. That way you're not damaging the pipe, and you'll get it nice, tight, and flush. And then you'll take one of your 3 2-inch or 2-foot pieces, and you'll just insert it into that side. As you can see, we're starting to get the shape. This I'm going to call the arm. You'll do the same thing with your second piece of 2-foot PVC pipe into this side, which will make a T. And then at the very top of that T, I'm going to just pull this down. I didn't have that tight, so it's coming apart, but that's okay. I just inserted this. And that is how you're going to get the cross shape. Let me show you that. Okay, so that's how you're going to get your cross. And obviously the bottom is longer than the top and the 2 sides. Your end caps right here, I used on my arms on both sides, and again left that open to insert my thing, but you may want to cap that. Okay, once I got this basic structure together, I took a piece of rebar and hammered it into the ground till it was solid, and then this pipe was open on the end, and I just stood it up and put it over top of the rebar, and I spray painted it. Now you'll see that this looks pretty messy. This is not what it'll look like when it's fully painted. After I had spray painted it green, I had decided that I wanted the garland to have a frosted look, so I ended up spraying some white over my garland while it was on this structure on the cross. So this is why it looks this way. I am going to respray paint this since I have to redo the garland and the lights, and I'm going to make it look all fresh and new again. And then you simply, once it's dry, you just insert it into your stand right here and make it tight and flush so that it is sturdy and stable. And then there is a trick to wrapping the garland and the lights in order for it to be equal. And I started at the base, and I just wrapped up nice and tight all the way up, right tight to each other. And I can't really tell you how much garland it took, because I just bought this large, huge box of garland for $6 at my local thrift store, and I just hoped it was enough, and it was. So you will have to judge. You'll just have to judge how much garland you're going to need to wrap this thing. So I wrapped it up to the middle, nice and tight from the bottom to this middle section. And then when I got here, I started to wrap here, but I would leave a gap in between each time I wrapped around all the way to the end. Then when I came back through, I filled in that gap. So then now it's full, just like the bottom. And then I come over here and I wrapped and left gaps all the way out to the end. Then when I got to the end, I came back in and I filled those gaps in. Back to the center, and then up to the top, I just wrapped it nice and tight, making sure not to leave any gaps this time, all the way up. And if you do that with your lights, and again, I can't tell you how many strands of lights it would take, because again, I purchased those at my local thrift store, and I just hoped it was enough, and it was. So you'll just purchase lights. The more lights, the brighter, the prettier it is going to be. Just use your preference. If you want a lot of lights, just make sure you got plenty of. And right now is the time to buy them, guys. Clearance, Christmas clearance. Get those lights, colored lights, red lights, white lights, blue lights, whatever you choose to use for your tree. So that is the simple process of how I made my cross Christmas tree. Now I'm going to show you what I decided to do with mine, since this is a cross Christmas tree. Oh, excuse me, guys. I decided to put a star at the top, because that's what they did. They followed the star to Jesus. This was just a twig and twine star that I, again, bought at my thrift store. And you'll see it has a cord. I put glue all over and put this like glittery, snowy stuff on it because I just like the way that looked. And then I purchased, again, at my thrift store, one of these lighted stars to put behind it. And I just simply took zip strips and attached it to it. And it looks really pretty all put together, guys. You can go back and look at some of my older videos and you'll see how pretty it looks all lit up. And I just made sure that I plugged it into the end into my lights when I got up here to the top, because that's where I stopped. I always started at the bottom, worked across both arms. Doesn't matter if you go to the left or the right first on the arms, which either side. Just make sure you leave gaps as you're going out and fill in the gaps as you're coming back. And then make it solid going up to the top. And then at my Hobby Lobby, make sure you utilize your 40% off coupon that you can use daily if it is not on sale. 40% off any regular priced item. I purchased these little metal crosses. I don't know if you can tell in the video very well, but this one is slightly larger than the other two. They're to represent Jesus and the two thieves that were hung on the cross. And when I decorated my tree, I had hung this one in the middle and the two smaller ones on both arms at the ends. And then, you know, thinking of the crown of thorns that Jesus wore, I found this at my local thrift store, and I decided that that would be perfect for my crown of thorns. So when I had got done decorating and putting on the garland and the lights and all that stuff, I simply, before I put on my star, slipped this over the top, and then I just, you know, so that the pipe comes through, like so. And then I just attached it with the garland that was on the tree. I just wrapped a couple little branches around a couple of the twigs to hold it in place to represent the crown of thorns. And then, you know, I took the star and put it on the top. So that is how I made, I'm guessing, I didn't actually measure it, well, I went with 6 foot in height, but then you've got this connector, and then you got your tree stand. So I'm going to say about a 6.5 foot tree. So this is a full tree. And then again, you got 2-inch arm here and a 2-inch arm, or 2 foot, I'm sorry, 2 foot arm here and a 2 foot arm here. So that's 4 foot plus this. So I'm going to say 4.25 wide by 6.5 tall, approximately. And so that is how I made my cross Christmas tree. I hope that clears up a lot of questions. I hope this inspires y'all to go ahead and do this simple project. And I hope that y'all have a blessed and happy and safe new year. Thank you for watching. Bye now.